Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do The Defenders issue number 102 by Marvel Comics. This is you can call it a one shot, if you will. The main star is Kyle Rickman's Nighthawk. Who are not in this comic is Valkyrie and the Hulk, although they are on the cover, which is really weird. Anyway, let's dive in. So we see here Clea and Gargoyle. Gargoyle is an old Burgermeister. He's a mayor. He turned into a gargoyle, has bioblast, shoots him with them. It seems that Kyle Wickman, also known as Nighthawk, is a day paralyzed because of, he fought along with the Defenders. Nebulon almost killed him. Doctor Strange pulled him back together by some kind of a spell. So that he can, live and walk again. But then somehow a mysterious force broke that bond, means he's paralyzed again, except at night. And then his Nighthawk powers kicks in, and he can walk again. Okay, and we also getting introduced to what's her name? Let's call her Nurse Bloom. She has a really unusual first name. Anyway, and she's a nurse for hire. I'm not sure how that works, but okay. And she's concerned by him, and she doesn't, trust sorcerers and magicians very much because she thinks they are hacks. But Clea shows her that she is the real deal. And so Kyle gets in his car and he drives away, and he's way more happier. He was more bitter and narcissistic, and now he's has some kind of an inner strength, according to Clea. And then he goes to some kind of an institute, like a some institution for people with problems. Let's leave it at that. So Nurse Bloom says here, you still haven't told me who it is we're visiting here, Kyle. In fact, you've been stone quiet since we flew out of New York last night. Well, I had my reasons. So he says that he was in love with a girl called Mindy, and they had an accident because he was drunk driving, and he felt very guilty. Somehow, years later, Mindy, another one, attacks him, but it was a robot, and Spider-Man came to help, and because this was another robot. And it seems that the real Mindy was behind it, and she wasn't dead at all. But the father of Kyle Rickman paid her off because he was some kind of a powerful man and don't want to get the papers involved, so because of scandals and such. So he paid her a big ransom of money to keep quiet, but she used that money to build robots. I'm not sure how she did that. I mean, is he a scientist or something? I don't know. And but eventually he got through her, and now she's a broken girl, and he feels guilty since then. And she's been here at this psychiatric facility. Okay, I said it. And he's been greeted by Dr. Masters and a couple of other dudes and girls. And so he goes to, so he shows her him and Mindy, and she is painting. And mostly when she is feeling good, she's painting stuff like this, like a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and romantic scenes. But she also has some kind of a psychotic episode that she's getting real angry. So Kyle goes in, and because he hasn't been there for a very long time, and he says, hello, Mindy. And she says, who? And then I don't know what this word means. Her voice is gossamer. I don't know what that word is. Maybe you can tell me, guys, in the chat. I have no clue. What is that? Never heard of it. And she said, it's me, Kyle, and she's biting her lip. And so she turns around, happy to see him, but, Kyle is now paralyzed too, just like her. And she wanted to reach out to him, and then she's starting to laugh like crazy. And she says, this is all too funny. And then something's happening, and he's getting pushed away, and there's some kind of a glow, probably invisible to the naked eye. People don't know what's going on, and she's screaming at him, and she says, I'll kill you, Kyle Rickman, and I'll kill you if the last thing I do. And okay, so they go into a motel, and Clea comes, and Nurse Bloom says, I'm not seeing this. She says, so Clea says, I have traced the source of the energy that severed your life bond, Kyle. and it's in the very institution you have just left. So he's gonna, and Clea explains that it was a pure mind blast that pushed him back. So he turns into Nighthawk, and I don't like this costume. I mean, his first costume was fine, and somehow I don't know. I have maybe a soft spot for this character, but just because he was a rich guy with some weak-ass powers, so I hope that he became more, maybe stronger, or maybe a leader. But that never happened. So this new costume is with a very ugly mask, in my opinion, and is weird. I believe metal wings that doesn't flap. It's just here with jet packs or something, and he has these things on the outside that he can shoot people with. It's just weird. Looks like some kind of a glider or something. I don't know. So he's gonna break in. Not sure why he's gonna break in, but okay, he's gonna break in. And so there's people here using, I don't know, super speed. I mean, that looks like it. And he says, intruder alert, better gonna check it out. So Masters is informed. Cal breaks in, and he's been greeted by a group of people, nurses, I believe, and doctors with sci-fi weapons. And they say, we want to have a little talk with you. So, okay, Cal attacks them, and he's way stronger now because the serum that he has, his superpower is that his I don't know, everything is doubled, which is a stupid power in my opinion, doubled. So he's twice stronger. So that's not much. Why not 10 times or 5 times or I don't know. I mean, even Paladin is stronger than him because he's 3 times or something stronger than a normal human being. I don't get it. Doesn't matter. Skipping some ads and stuff. So he's been greeted by Dr. Masters. And I say he knows who Cal Rickman is because I believe it's public. His identity is publicly known or something. I'm not entirely sure because it's been years since I touched a comic, Defenders comic. And so he says, I must commend you when we heard about your paralysis. We assumed your work as Nighthawk would be finished. You obviously find a way to circumvent the problem. And he says, who are you talking about? So he says, so it shows that he's working for the government. And except, what are you going to do here? Nerve gas your patients? Your wit escapes me. But if you're really interested, step this way. So they go into an elevator and come to this, I don't know, underground facility or room where Mindy is, here in the middle, and a couple of other people and doctors, let's call them scientists. And Kyle Rickman is a little bit enraged. He said, what's going on here? What are you doing with these people? So Masters explained that you see, my emotional friends, what you so clumsily stumbled upon is a new top-secret project investigating the potential uses of telepathy for national security. Telepathy? So so they're doing some experiments, and a couple of people has psi potential, so they can use it for, I don't know, government's sake, weapons maybe. And Mindy is, how do you say, the focal point of the little group. So every ounce of psi energy goes into her, and they're gonna use that or direct them. They extract them or use that psi energy from her because she is absorbing the psi energy from other people. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how that works. But the art looks great at some point. Not everything is great. There's some kind of a facial expression doesn't do it for me. But mostly the art looks good. So let's leave it at that for now. But then he explains that also that she has an outburst and shouting that, basically shouting that Cal needs to die. So he explains, a few months ago, Mindy has one of her schizo frits, a real whopper. God, I love those 90s language. Unfortunately, she had hooked into a psi inducer at the same time, and she almost brought the house down. I wouldn't be surprised if you felt that one, since she was screaming the whole time about how she was going to get even with you for what you've done to her. In fact, our brain boys think that's what crippled you. Tough break here. So he's getting pissed off and he punches him. And he says, it's bad enough that you come close to ruining my life, but what about these people? They're innocents. They came here for help, and you turn them and scramble their brains with no more concern than you shown a laboratory hamster. So he wants to help Mindy and how do you say? He's going to bring the house down. He wants to intervene. But Master says, I was hoping you understand our predicament, Rickman, but I see you don't. And he says, well, national security is at stake, so these so-called scientist nurses are ramping up the power. And yeah, this looks good. So everybody's going crazy, and from the sewers of her minds, Mindy is sending rats at Cal, and he is being, I don't know, almost eaten alive. He's getting it, man. Not a little bit too. He is getting it. And so the narrative says, more like, the floodgates are now open as Cal Rickman's learning how much to his eternal regret. He's known pain deeper than has he ever experienced, pain both physical and spiritually. And then he screams and screams. Not sure why he gets a black eye. I mean, those are not, I don't know. Nobody punched him in the eye, but okay. But then somehow Mindy experienced some kind of a visions of her, with Cal and with the paintings and stuff. And she realizes that they have some good times, and she realizes her mistake, and then she's sending her psychic rats towards the other people that hurt her for a very long time, and now they have to pay. Great stuff. And what's happened next makes the attack on Nighthawk appear tame. Great stuff. And as man and machines fall victim to the savage assault of the mind rats, and the wine of ruined computer banks mingles with the wine of the wounded and the dying. I love it. So he plucks them away from the machine, and she is, stop it, and they deserve better than this. You need to stop it. But he is, that what kind of a, how to say, the clarity that she has is fading, and she is now a mindless zombie again. Well, she says that they did the job too well, speaking of those rats that, disappearing and going back to the sewer of her mind. So cool. Anyway, so Master's here, all cocky. So Rickman says, are you satisfied? He says, no, not really. I mean, we're getting a blow. It cost us a lot of money. Quite a setback. But these things happen in my line of work, and in yours, I suppose. There's really nothing to do to pick up the pieces and start all over again. I laugh so hard. I mean, this guy is not fazed by Cal at all. I mean, he's tried to be tough, but the doctor just shoves him away like he was nothing. So Cal says, hey, I'm a rich guy. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to, go to the papers or to the press and expose you. But Master says, aren't you forgetting a certain upcoming hearing, Rickman, in the matters of a few dozen charges against you? Keep quiet about this, and I guarantee those charges will be dropped. He says, what do you say? But Cal thinks he has the upper hand, so he shouts at him, and it looks not really that good. And he says, your days of inflicting that craziness of American people are over. Finito! I'm making sure you squash Masters like a squirming little bug you are. Oh, wait a minute, because I forget something. Wait a minute. So going back a little bit, a couple of pages. Rickman, about the paper. So he says, showing this paper, read it and weep, hero. You just trumped all of Uncle Sam's finest. Now, why this is important, I'm going to show you. So he's going out, and he talks about what happened, and it was Clea that gave the Mindy the visions of Cal and her being a couple again, and turning the things around. So Wong comes in, and he's very, very angry, and he says, well, I was going to the press, and I'm going to get him, and he's all fired up. So there is a man, Wong says, at the door, and he gave me a paper, and he said to Cal Rickman, he needs to give a message to Cal. He says, read it and weep. He said, what do you mean? And so it seems that New England Sanitarium burns to the ground. So basically, they covered it up. And Masters, you arrogant scum, you beat me. You did the squashing, not me. And he's just pissing off and he's punching at the at the wall because he thinks he's gonna get him next time. But that's not gonna happen, I think. And that brings us to the end of the video. And I laughed. I mean, normally you would root for the hero, right? You know, doing the right thing, saving the girl, and it's gonna be okay, and then the bad guy's going to jail. No, not in this case. This is one of these rare comics that the good guys are losing. And Cal was, very over emotional. He is still angry. He's living. Masters is living rent free in his head. I'm not sure why I'm laughing, but it's so funny. I can't help it, guys. I think this is a great comic, just for the laughs only. The story is it's cool. I mean, why not? Why not? See you next time. Bye bye.